You just spent $15,000 on a new central air conditioning system. The brand name on the cabinet sounded solid. The dealer promised professional grade. 6 months later, the compressor locks up in July, the warranty covers the part but not the $800 in labor, and the technician standing in your driveway says 5 words that make your stomach drop. I see this one all the time. The HVAC industry has a blacklist. Today, we are opening it. The first name on the list is the one HVAC technicians repair more than any other, Goodman. Goodman is owned by Daikin, the massive Japanese industrial conglomerate, and it also manufactures units sold under the Amana brand name. Walk into any new construction subdivision in America, open the attic hatch, and there is a very strong chance the builder dropped a Goodman system into that space because it is the cheapest unit available at contractor wholesale pricing. The appeal is obvious. A complete Goodman split system can cost a contractor $600 to $1,000 less per unit than a comparable Carrier or Trane. Multiply that by 200 homes in a subdivision and the savings are enormous. For the builder, not for you. The engineering flaw hiding inside these units is the evaporator coil. In a central air system, the evaporator coil sits inside your home, usually mounted directly above your furnace or air handler, and it absorbs heat from your indoor air as refrigerant passes through it. Goodman built these coils using a bimetallic design. Copper refrigerant tubing mechanically joined to aluminum fins and headers. When two dissimilar metals sit in a warm, humid, slightly acidic environment, which is exactly what exists inside an operating air handler, a chemical reaction called galvanic corrosion attacks the junction points from the inside out. Over 3 to 5 years, microscopic pinholes form at every copper to aluminum joint. Refrigerant starts leaking. Your system loses cooling capacity slowly enough that you blame the summer heat, not the machine. By the time a technician confirms the leak with an electronic detector, the entire evaporator coil needs replacement. Goodman will ship you a new coil under warranty. What they will not cover is the $600 to $1,200 in labor required to tear out the old coil, braze in the replacement, pull a deep vacuum on the line set, and recharge the system with refrigerant. A class action lawsuit alleging this exact defect pattern sought over $800 million in damages. The court ultimately dismissed the class certification, but the core engineering has not fundamentally changed. Technicians see it every single week. But here is the part that makes this worse. Goodman is not the only offender hiding behind a parent company. And that brings us to number 2 on the blacklist. Number 2 is a group of brands most homeowners have never heard of: Comfortmaker, Heil, and Tempstar. These names sound generic because they are. All three are manufactured by International Comfort Products, known in the industry as ICP, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Carrier Global Corporation, one of the largest HVAC conglomerates on the planet. A homeowner hears Carrier and assumes quality, but Carrier does not put its flagship engineering into these ICP product lines. They get thinner cabinet steel, lower-tier scroll compressors, and stripped-down control boards with fewer diagnostic capabilities. Consumer Reports surveyed tens of thousands of members and evaluated 22 central air conditioning brands for reliability and customer satisfaction. They placed Comfortmaker and Heil into the unfavorable reliability tier, one notch above the worst possible rating. The single most frequently reported failure across these brands was the evaporator coil. These are the units that national home builders install by the truckload because the wholesale cost is hundreds of dollars lower per unit than a true Carrier Infinity system. The builder saves money on the purchase order. You inherit the repair invoices, and when the compressor fails in year 6, the word Carrier on the parent company letterhead does nothing to lower the $1,500 labor charge sitting on your kitchen counter. Number 3 is another pair hiding under one corporate roof: York and Luxaire. Both are manufactured by Johnson Controls, the massive multinational conglomerate. Consumer Reports placed both York and Luxaire in that same unfavorable reliability tier alongside the ICP brands. Their Evaporator coil problem rate sits at 11%, the highest documented failure rate in the entire 22-brand survey. But the deeper problem with York is parts availability. When a York compressor fails or a proprietary circuit board burns out, technicians across the country report wait times of 4 to 8 weeks for replacement components. 4 to 8 weeks? In July, in Texas, your family sits in a 95-degree house while a proprietary control board travels by slow freight from a Johnson Controls distribution center. The independent technician cannot substitute a universal part because the system architecture is locked to York-specific components and firmware. HVAC professionals avoid York units in their own homes for a simple practical reason. The machine might run fine for years, but when it eventually breaks, the parts chain turns a 2-day repair into a 2-month ordeal. Number 4 is a brand most people consider premium: Lennox. Lennox systems are marketed as high-efficiency, top-tier machines with some of the highest Tier 2 ratings available, and in many cases, the core hardware is genuinely well-engineered. The problem is not the machine itself. The problem is what happens the first time the machine needs service. Lennox operates a closed ecosystem. Many of their critical components, particularly main control boards, variable speed blower modules, and certain proprietary coil configurations, can only be sourced through authorized Lennox dealers. If you live in an area with one Lennox dealer, that dealer effectively controls the price of every single repair for the life of your system, and you have zero negotiating leverage. Independent technicians have documented repair quotes for Lennox control boards exceeding $400 for the part alone, plus $200 or more in labor for a component that performs the exact same function as a $60 universal replacement board in a carrier or train system. The efficiency numbers look impressive on the spec sheet, but the lifetime service cost can quietly erase every dollar you saved on your monthly electric bill. Independent repair technicians have a name for this brand: the golden handcuffs of the HVAC industry. Number 5 is the fastest growing segment of the residential cooling market: cheap, direct-to-consumer mini-split systems. Brands like Cool, Pioneer, and a rotating cast of imports are sold on Amazon and at big box home improvement stores with a seductive marketing promise. Skip the licensed contractor. Install the system yourself. Save thousands of dollars. The engineering reality behind that promise is brutal. A ductless mini-split system operates on copper refrigerant lines that must be precision flared, torqued to exact specifications, pressure tested with dry nitrogen, and then deep vacuum sealed before the system is charged. One microscopic gap at a single flare nut connection, invisible to the naked eye, and the system slowly loses refrigerant charge over the following months. The compressor runs increasingly hot as the charge drops, overheats repeatedly, and eventually suffers a catastrophic seizure. When that happens, no licensed HVAC contractor wants to inherit the system. They did not install it. They cannot verify the integrity of the line set. They are not putting their professional license and their insurance on the line to troubleshoot someone else's flare job done with a YouTube tutorial and a $40 Harbor Freight toolkit. You are left with a dead unit on the wall and a manufacturer warranty that explicitly requires professional installation to be valid, professional installation that you never had. Licensed technicians install Mitsubishi, Daikin, or Fujitsu mini splits in their own homes because those manufacturers require certified dealer installation, which means the refrigerant circuits are done correctly from day one. Number 6 on the blacklist is not a specific brand. It is an entire generation of equipment. Starting January 1st, 2025, the EPA banned the manufacture and import of new residential air conditioning systems using R410A refrigerant, the chemical compound that has cooled American homes for over 20 years. The mandated replacement is R454B, also marketed as Puron Advance, a mildly flammable refrigerant with a 78% lower global warming potential. Here is what the sales brochure will never tell you. R454B was first developed in 2018. The first residential split systems using it shipped in early 2025. That means every single R454B unit currently on the market is first-generation equipment. Every experienced HVAC technician alive remembers what happened the last time the industry forced a refrigerant transition. When R22 was replaced by R410A in the early 2000s, the first generation of R410A systems had widespread compressor failures, coil leaks, and oil compatibility issues that took manufacturers years to diagnose and engineer out of production. The R454B supply chain has already proven volatile. Contractors in multiple states report refrigerant price increases exceeding 300% compared to what they were paying for R410A just 12 months earlier. Some technicians are stockpiling R410A in bulk to service existing systems because the replacement compound is either unavailable from their distributor or priced at a level that makes routine service calls uneconomical for the homeowner. Experienced technicians are quietly telling their friends and family a simple truth: if your current system still runs, do not rush to replace it with a first-generation unit. Let the early adopters burn through the initial warranty cycle. Let the manufacturers identify and correct the inevitable design revisions on someone else's equipment. The safest financial decision right now is to maintain what you have and wait. Number 7 is the same engineering crime the appliance industry already committed with kitchen appliances now arriving in your heating and cooling system: the smart, cloud-connected air conditioner. Brands across the entire price spectrum are bolting Wi-Fi communication modules, cloud-dependent control boards, and app-integrated thermostat systems onto machines that operate in the most extreme thermal environments inside your home. Consider where these components live. A residential air handler sits in an attic that routinely reaches 140 degrees in the summer months. The outdoor condenser unit sits exposed to direct sunlight, driving rain, ice storms, and sub-zero wind chill. These are among the single harshest operating environments anywhere in your house. And manufacturers are mounting delicate silicon circuit boards, heat-sensitive electrolytic capacitors, and thin ribbon cable connections directly inside these machines and calling it a premium feature. When the manufacturer's cloud server experiences an outage, the app-dependent control system throws a cryptic error code and locks the entire system out. When sustained attic heat dries out the electrolytic capacitors on the main logic board, the system shuts down completely in the middle of an August heat wave. The replacement board is proprietary, costs $200 to $500 depending on the brand, and may be back-ordered for weeks from an overseas supplier. The technicians who service these systems every single day run simple analog equipment in their own homes. They want a thermostat with a mechanical relay and a battery backup. They want a condenser with a standard contactor and a dual-run capacitor. They want a blower motor with a simple capacitor start winding, no Wi-Fi module, no smartphone app, no $200 motherboard baking in a 140-degree attic waiting to cook itself to death. The technicians know the truth. The entire residential HVAC market is controlled by 5 parent corporations selling more than 20 different brand names out of a small number of shared factories. 5 conglomerates, 20 logos, and the same cost-engineered shortcuts rotating through every product line at every price point. The label on the cabinet tells you almost nothing about the components hidden inside. If you want to beat the blacklist, execute the same strategy the technicians themselves use. Stop accepting the cheapest system your builder offers without question. Stop paying extra for smart connectivity modules you do not need. Find a contractor who will perform a proper manual J-load calculation, size the unit precisely to your actual house, and install it with verified airflow, correct refrigerant charge, and properly sealed ductwork. The boring, correctly sized, correctly installed mid-tier system with 0 smart features will outlast the overpriced connected unit that was oversized and poorly ducted every single time. If you made it this far, subscribe. We expose the engineering frauds hiding inside the products you buy.